Welcome back to the stream for the MRDA European qualifiers here in Aberdeen, Scotland. We are about to get underway with the third game of today, which will see Tyne and Fear Roller Derby from Newcastle in the UK taking on the Quads from France. And we're going to take you through the rosters.
So we're going to start off with Tyne and Fear. Today we will have 1 Dark Matter, 1-3 Pablo Diablo, 1-3-7 Fubar, 1-9-0-5 Eek, 2 Sniper, 2-7 Princess, 3-5 Sleepy, 6-4 60 Quad Bit, 8-2 Man-Shaped Dog, 8-3-1 Mustache.
And playing in red for Quads, we have 0-1 Hakoto no Kim, 0-8-7 Sangoku, 1-3 Big Daddy, 1-4 Jason Kruger, 1-6-6-4 Green Bergen, 3-3 Bad Periods, 4 Colonel Poulard, 4-2 Dalek Hamus, 4-4 Eddycopter, 5-4-5-2 Maniac Tattoo, 6 Oliver Fist, 7-7 Buckler Baston, and 8-1 Brutal Impact. So Quads have already played a game today and they took quite a convincing win against the host league, Granite City Brawlers. It is Tyne and Fear's first time on track today, and they are bringing quite a different roster than we would normally have, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
So it's a really great opportunity for some more of Tyne and Fear's B team players to get some literal international experience on track. But lining up for Tyne and Fear, we have a very experienced jammer in the form of a Dark Matter.
Of course, you know, when you say B-team skaters, they are charter skaters. They are some of the crossover skaters.
Of course.
But, you know, some people that might not always get the most track time certainly have it now. Dark Matter with some immediacy, picking up lead jammer status for Tyne and Fear.
Yeah, and Sangoku trapped at the back of the pack, helmet cover on the floor in turn 1, picks it back up and now manages to find a gap out of the pack to complete the initial. Dark Matter in the meantime with 4 on the board for Tyne and Fear.
Dark Matter literally inches behind Sangoku as they reapproach the pack, is taking up quite a pace. Gonna wait for Sangoku to come into scoring position before Dark Matter calls it off, but he decides to go ahead and kill it. So that is a 4-point jam for Tyne and Fear. Nothing picked up by the Quads.
Yeah, a strong start from the team from Newcastle, who are coming into this with fresh legs, and also from the conversations we've had with them, really nothing to lose. They're here to have a lot of fun.
And I hope everybody's here to have a lot of fun.
I mean, I'm having a lot of fun already,
and
I'm just sitting here talking about the sport I love. We now have Mustache wearing the star for Tyne and Fear, and that is, I believe, Jason Kruger for the Quads, being held in a nice wide tripod there on Tyne and Fear. Green Bergen with the offensive assist, and now Jason Kruger with 1 to beat. Makes it out, but Mustache with a turn of speed.
Yeah, that one last knock as he came out of the pack was just nicely executed and also yields a 0-0 jam.
Sad potato jam in the official terminology, which I keep writing to the MRDA about, but you know, they still have not answered my letters regarding that.
I'll put a word in.
If you could, that would be fantastic. So just to give you a bit more context about these two teams, and just to prove that, you know, the big picture is made up of many different factors. Rankings-wise, Tyne and Fear Roller Derby currently sit at number 9 in the MRDA, and Quads at number 20. But I think that is not necessarily going to reflect what happens in this tournament, as Quads pick up their first lead status, their second lead status, of the game with Buckler Baston.
Well, see, I understand you're making a prediction for how this game is going to go, but I'm like, I still think it's too early to call it, even though Tyne and Fear is here with a bit of a shorter roster. The difference between number 10 and number 20 in rankings can be pretty significant. However, now that I've said that...
Yeah, see, now you've said it, Sleepy of Tyne and Fear has now picked up the first jammer penalty of the game. and leaving Buckler Baston on a power jam. No, you're right. I shouldn't be making predictions. I'm not a crystal ball, and anyway, astrology and everything is made up.
No oracles have been consulted on the outcome of this game.
I have not spoken to my oracles recently, so I cannot confirm or deny the outcome of this game.
Mine's in the USA, so I don't have time to go back and just check willy-nilly.
Well, we do have a tied game as we go into jam number 4, 4 points all, and Sangoku will have the power start for Cami Quads, a French team national skater. Seems to be able to skate at the speed of light, sound, many other forms. Liquid, gas, solid, laterals through on the apex, picks up lead for the Cami Quads.
So as the pack makes it to the far straightaway, the remaining Cami Quads blockers just flank the track, coming in and ready to bust up Tyne and Fear's defenses.
But of course they do have a pack deficit on track right now, so having to work twice as hard. And in the meantime, Sleepy is back on track, throwing some big hits into those Cami Quads blockers. 60 quad bit with the offensive assist, and Sleepy out on the initial.
That jam is called. Another 4 points on that last pass for the Cami Quads. An 8-point jam in total, bringing them up to 12. Tyne and Fear is still sitting on 4.
Nice tight game so far, and reasonably, I know I'm going to jinx this now, but reasonably light on penalties for both teams. We have had some very penalty games so far here today, and again, not making a prediction, but it is often those penalties which make a difference in these tournament formats. You know, each team is going to be playing 4 full-length games over the 2 days, and that's a big ask when you got tired legs. We now have Pablo Diablo jamming for Tyne and Fear up against Jason Kruger, who has lead status for Cami Quads. Hits and quits, 1 single point going up on the board for the Cami Quads.
So we could always try to make the announcer curse work in our favor
by saying, I'm sure there's going to be many penalties this jam and everyone will do something terrible. And then
I was going to try, there are too many cats in here.
I mean, first of all, there can never be too many cats in any place.
But if you use the announcer curse, the opposite
will happen.
Right?
I mean,
crap, did I do it wrong?
No, I think I understand. Anyway, in the meantime, speaking of cats and things that can leap with astonishing accuracy, Dark Matter is lead for Tyne and Fear. A star pass has been affected to the Cami Quads pivot. That is 01 Hokuto no Kim, who had a storming game earlier against the Granite City Brawlers.
Looks like there's a star in hand, but has not been donned yet.
It is now donned.
Yeah, there you go.
You just wanted to use the word donned, didn't you?
I use it often. But I was just going to point out, they're just about 5 feet apart, and now they're mirroring each other, the two jammers. Okuda no Kim is not interested in, being sucked back into the pack and have to redo this. On the other hand, Tyne and Fear's jammer is super interested in it.
I mean, it's an interesting tactic because Dark Matter has lead, and it chose to kind of shirk that advantage to affect the drawback. Maybe they're just attempting to burn clock time.
Yeah, that is what's happening. So if that's their intent, good job.
I think also something to remember is that points differential as well as wins are going to make a big impact today. So if they can, control the jams when they have the lead status.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm probably making up tactics, but somehow Dark Matter sneaks back on track.
I figured it out.
You figured it out?
They were doing a penalty kill on the blocker. But the irony is, same blockers back in the box now.
Irony is a fun thing. But a forearms penalty. No, a cut track penalty, I apologize. Now issued to Hokuto no Kim. So a power jam for Dark Matter, picks up 4 more points, calls the jam, icing 2 of his own blockers and 1 of the Cami Quads as well as their jammer. So, a really interesting. We'll see if this pays off or not.
Was it called or was it the natural? Because he would have only had a few seconds.
Do you know what, Sleazer? You're probably right.
Oh, I'm just kind of like, it seems weird to call it off then, unless it just happened. But regardless, what's happened to the score?
Yeah, we have a 1-point game now.
Yeah.
Still in favor of Cami Quads, but Mustache now taking the star for this power start. And just flying into some Cami Quads blockers who remain pretty solid. Drawn back into the turn 1.
Wow. It's like a slow motion fall there with Mustache, one of the Cami Quads blockers, number 6, Oliver Fist.
Yeah.
And get back going.
And Hokuto no Kim now back on track. Penalty expired lead still open and picks it up without being touched by any of the Newcastle blockers. So that did not particularly work in Tyne and Fear's favor. Jason Kruger with the pivot cover for Cami Quads, just having a little conversation with one of the officials. It looked like he was headed to the box, but we're going to see if that is the case now. And it's a 2-point pickup for Cami Quads on that last go around.
Getting lined up again, we've got one blocker from each team in the penalty box, so we're still even numbered. Sleepy headed off to the box for a back block call, and so there's a power jam with some immediacy for the Cami Quads as long as Senglaku can get through.
Which he does with immediate effect. I wonder if Sleepy has ever been on a team with 6 other skaters, like a sevens team, with all the dwarf names from Snow White, because if not, I want to make that happen. Sanglaku now on a scoring pass, puts up the full 4 points. Eek being goaded at the back by the Cami Quads as Sleepy heads back into play. Fast feet to try to split that full formation apart, but taken out by a big hit from Colonel Pollard and forced to reset.
Coming in on another scoring pass, Sanglaku was having a lot of luck earlier, predicting just exactly where to go in the pack to very quickly get through, is held up a little more than maybe we'd thought by the Tyne and Fear blockers. However, picks up the full 4 points before coming in for another scoring pass as they are stopped at the top of the apex.
Yeah, Sanglaku, such an experienced jammer with such incredible pack and track awareness.
Definitely.
And really the only thing that works against him is filling every available space, because as you can see there, if you give him even an inch, he will take a mile, and does it with such incredible grace and ease. Pack slowing down a bit in the straightaway right now as we hear some bodies hit the floor, and oh dear, Sleepy back to the box.
Friesen Sleepy in the box by calling it off. Sleepy only just sat down, so it's going to be very near the full 30 seconds for a power start for the Cami Quads in this next jam. The score now not so tight, 12-39 in favor of the Cami Quads.
And just looking at the penalties very quickly, it looked like that last penalty was a low block for Sleepy, and already on 3 penalties with Tyne and Fear having a short roster, that is going to be critical that those penalties do not stack up any further. Boucle Baston on the jam for Cami Quads. And I had a lot of fun earlier making up the lyrics to the alternative Beauty and the Beast version. No one skates like Baston. No one jams like Baston.
Nice.
And you're all welcome, people of the internet, for that earworm, which I hope will now be stuck with you for the rest of time.
Any complaints can be directly tweeted to us.
We probably won't read them, but you can tweet all you want anyway. Sleepy back on track, throws a hit into Boucle Baston, but so seems to only give some momentum.
So that jam, I believe, was called for injury,
But
which looked like it was going to be much more substantial, and I'm so happy to see that it's not. The way he fell was not what we would call good.
Not a healthy fall.
I would call it bad.
You would call it a bad fall.
I would. It was a bad fall.
And luckily that is Delek who's heading off to the medics. You probably won't be able to see that on screen, but our medics, of course, one of the most vital parts of any game, any tournament in Derby, and we're very grateful that they're here to check out our skaters. In the meantime, we have a new jammer not a new jammer, sorry, he has already had one go round. Pablo Diablo with the star for Tyne and Fear. And that looks like Jason Kruger for Cami Quads.
I believe so.
I'm occasionally correct about these names, but it's very hard to see when the jam line is so far away.
There's people just in front of him.
How dare they?
Yeah, there he is. Number 14. So it's number 13 and number 14.
I'll just give you a quick update on those other penalties. We have had look, watch me jinx this right now, Sleazer. Okay, we have very nice light penalties at the moment. A total of 6 penalties altogether on the Cami Quad side, and a total of 9 penalties on the Tyne and Fear side, with almost a quarter of the game clock gone. So reasonably clean at the moment. We've seen in the previous games of today that as the games go on, as perhaps is inevitable, the penalties start to rack up more.
Something that should be of concern, though, is out of the 9 penalties for Tyne and Fear, 3 of them are taken up by Sleepy, who has been in as a jammer.
Yeah.
So, not the only jammer, but still.
Yeah, Tyne and Fear have got four jammers on the rotation, so reasonably healthy on a roster of 10. We'll just have to see what happens if they play the safe game. And at the moment, fantastic work from Pablo Diablo, but takes a big old hit, comes back on track, having picked up lead, and plays the safe game, not letting Jason Kruger, who was out of the pack, put any points up on the board. But really a gorgeous toe stop work down that inside line from Pablo Diablo.
Definitely.
Score now 47 points to 12 in favor of Cami Quads, with no points scored in that last jam. And we've got a pivot line start again, something we've been seeing quite a lot today. Just establishing that space.
Just as you say that, they run away from the pivot line.
They did. They were running away from me. Sanglo-ku coming up against Princess on the outside.
Whoa! Oh my gosh! Wow! That was amazing. Stayed in, even though somebody had their body almost pressed up against his. Managed to stay in bounds, come in, pick up lead jammer, Sanglo-ku.
And it is a power jam in favor of Sanglo-ku and the Cami Quads, as Dark Matter has picked up their first penalty and is sitting in the box. Sanglo-ku taking their time coming into that pack, and then a little bit of bean dippage around the outside. Just exceptional skating there from the Cami Quads jammer.
Definitely. Whoa.
Dark Matter with some sweet little footwork of his own makes it out on the initial, and Tyne and Fear really working on this one-on-one blocking. Nice job there from Tyne and Fear. Enables Dark Matter to get through untouched as they take advantage of that pack deficit.
Dark Matter coming through on a scoring pass, did pick up the full 4 points and didn't meet much resistance that time through. That might be because 3 of the Cami Quads blockers were in the box. As one comes back to the track, Brutal Impact, he lives up to his name. Hopefully he's all right, because that was a
big old
solid
hit.
slap. Yeah,
really interesting jam there, and 12 points apiece put up, and Sanglo-ku absolutely using that time to burn the clock and to free his blockers. And we're going to take a quick official timeout, which gives me time to tell you who our fantastic officials are for the day. We have Sticks and Sona, Halo Jones, Crystal Vice, Disorderly, Emka, Slane, Jack, Polo Kiwi, County Moho, Elizareth, Champion Patin, and Law Have Mercy. Our skating officials are Scarbarella, MC, Victoria Velociraptor, Homo You Didn't, Holly, Taro, Tessington World of Adventures, and Quad Damage. Our 2 amazing ref crews are putting in, a heck of a shift this weekend, and we are so grateful for them and our equally fantastic NSOs for their time that they are giving to the MRDA European Qualifiers 2019. We're just having a bit of a medic check-in with Brutal Impact there, who did take a huge hit. And there was a player going in one direction and he was going in the other.
Yeah.
And I believe it wasn't an illegal hit as such, because the person who skated into him was skating in the correct direction.
Yes.
But my goodness, it looked like it hurt.
He was coming in out of the box, and I think he misjudged that he was about to change his pace and smacked in not a good way.
In a brutal impact way.
It was indeed a brutal impact. So I went over to ask the medics if they could come. So he went over by the doors.
You're everyone's parents,
well,
Lisa.
I was like, don't go out the fire exit. I don't know if the alarm goes off.
Oh dear, that would add some colour to MEQ, wouldn't it? A fire alarm.
Wouldn't be the first time. The 2013 MRDA Championships in Sioux City, Iowa, the building was evacuated because the fire alarm got pulled somehow.
You know all the best facts.
I was there.
I mean, that's still a really cool fact. I can't remember what happened yesterday.
It was like I laid on the grass for like an hour because there was nothing to do. And they never really figured, there was no fire. Just somebody pulled the alarm. Somewhere in this giant building. Don't do that.
Don't give the good people any ideas.
The good people wouldn't do that in the first place. I'm sure it was a kid. That we weren't the only people in the whole building.
It's a fact point.
So yeah.
So it looks like we're just having a little bit of chat and checking in. Our jam timer, Crystal Vice, just checking in with the officiating crew, and some jostling on the pivot line from the respective pivots of both teams. That man-shaped dog and Oliver Fist. If you want to talk about assertive masculine names on these teams, man-shaped dog and Oliver Fist are pretty high contenders.
Yeah, Princess.
Yeah, we like Princess. Fubar, on the other hand, is just sitting down going, I'm done with this.
Well, I think while I feel a bit chilly, I think if I was doing literally anything with physical, it gets quite hot in here very fast.
Even if it is Scotland, it's pretty,
It's a really nice day, honestly.
It's
the whole weekend is supposed to be about 60 degrees.
What's that in English? Because
I think it's 20.
Okay.
20.
Yeah, for Scotland, that's basically summer.
22 or something. No, it's nice because I'm
thrilled that we're spending it in a sports hall.
Last week in Nottingham, it was 33 degrees at one point.
Oh, the heat wave.
And I can't open the windows because they open doors. So I can't open them very far because I'm afraid my cat will be like, what's out here?
That's twice you've mentioned cats. Have you got a bet on?
No. Just like cats.
I'm very impressed that we're managing to talk about cats. We probably should talk some more about the roller derby, but this is quite a long...
We're on a very extended timeout. Don't shame me.
No, I mean, if you have any good jokes or good facts, people of the internet, feel free to tweet us.
Or you can always tweet hashtag cats of MRDA or MRDA cats. You know what? Just at Julius Leeser.
If you could just send us pictures of cats.
Show me your cat watching the game with you. See, it tied it in.
That would be heckin' appreciated by all of us.
It would be great. I would be very happy about it.
But no, in all honesty, the roller derby at this weekend is so great to watch. We've seen several of these teams. I saw them in September in this very venue for Silver City Cup, the inaugural City Cup, which was a really fantastic MRDA tournament organised by Granite City Brawlers. And it's really nice to see some of the teams come back here. It will be interesting to see the outcome of this weekend. I cannot, nor do I want to predict who will get those qualifying spots for MRDA champs. Already going to MRDA champs, we have New World Order, Manchester, also known as Manchester Roller Derby. We have Southern Discomfort, Vancouver Murder, Roller Derby Toulouse, Bridgetown.
Actually, Toulouse declined their invitation.
Toulouse
they
declined.
will not be joining us this year, which makes me very sad.
But we do have Bridgetown going, and we also have the St. Louis Gatekeepers.
Yes.
But the other spots are as yet unconfirmed.
Yeah, so the top 8 that were able to make it qualify automatically in, and then 2 are taken from North American qualifiers, 2 from European qualifiers, making 12-team tournament. It'll be amazing.
And with that mathematical interlude, we are back to the action. Moustache and Boucle Baston, jammers of the right now. Nice hit out from Fubar on Boucle Baston. And Moustache also hit out, forced to reset. Blockers going to the box in droves. Boucle Baston has picked up lead, but is being held behind Princess right now. Greenberger coming in with the offense, but Boucle Baston having to pick themselves up and reset. Moustache also checking the state of the floor for us. An unbelievable reforming from both teams going on right now. Boucle Baston out of the pack after almost a minute to complete the initial pass. And now Moustache also completing the initial. That was some really tough blocking to get through there.
Calling it off at the signal from the bench. That is a 4-point jam. I'm going to bring them up to 63 to Tyne and Fear's 24.
I've got to say, I'm really enjoying the blocking going on in this
definitely.
game. It's very calm. The lateral coverage is phenomenal, and there's some really just smartly timed offense being picked off from those defensive formations to go up and go back. It's really smart derby right now. I'm actually loving it. We have Sleepy back on track, looking pretty awake, I've got to say. And that is Jason Kruger leaping behind, puts one hand out, stays in bounds, but Sleepy with a big old grin is lead for Tyne and Fear.
Coming in to scoring position shortly, the Kamiquad's blockers are waiting at the back of the pack. Didn't look like it was going to happen for a second, but they did manage to hold them back just for a little bit. Sleepy is now through, picked up the full 4 points, but at the same time, Jason Kruger is also through, having acquired the same 4 points.
Yeah, Tyne and Fear have it, choosing to run this because they're too short on track, so I think they're trying to burn those penalties. Jason Kruger makes it through for another 4. Sleepy struggling a wee bit in this pack right now.
Wow.
And a low block issued there to Jason Kruger, which that looked pretty nasty. He took an apex hit into Sniper and pretty much went full into her back and head.
Well, she was like holding her helmet and then she stumbled when she got up, and I'm like, don't get up right now.
And there is an official review happening right now, and I would bet my skates that it is going to be about that apex jump and about the contact that was made. But we will bring you the results of that as soon as we have them. Oh my goodness.
Sorry, let me steal this from you.
You may steal it, but it doesn't actually belong to me. It's your property.
I think it's the stream stuff.
Sniper seems okay. She's headed back to her bench with a smile on her face, and she's skating smoothly. Checks in with Jason Kruger, who looks really, really shocked at himself for what he just did.
Yeah.
And has taken his seat in the penalty box with a good grace, because that was tough.
Definitely.
I mean, I think when that happened, it was. I mean, I'm not an official, but if I were an official, I would say that she had very much established herself on track.
Well, we are not going to speculate.
We're not going to speculate.
We're not going to speculate.
I'm going to stop now. But it was a pretty big hit, but she's okay, which is all that matters.
It was just like, there is some danger to the apex jumps, which is why it is illegal to hit people when you've got both the feet off the ground. So you move into the wrong spot or you misjudge a distance and things happen. But
personally, I mean, I'm predominantly a blocker, but I like to keep my wheels on the ground as much as possible. Like, please do not touch me.
No, that's completely fair. We would like to give a shout out to Roller Derby City, a longtime sponsor of Roller Derby, as you might suspect from the name, and a sponsor of the MRDA European Tournament qualifier. 2019. They've got sizing from 2XS to 6XL, sweat wicking, lightweight, and Velcro resistant clothing. You can check out their web store online at rollerderbycity.com, and you can get 20% off black and white scrimwear sets this summer.
I've got to say, I do really like their scrim sets, and they have some super cool prints going right now, so get yourself kitted out at rollerderbycity.com, even if you don't live in the city, because roller derby is also for the countryside. I don't know why I say these things, Lisa.
You know what? You're doing great.
Thanks for validating my terrible, terrible commentary on our sponsor reads.
Terrible. It was silly.
No, but Roller Derby City have kitted out our officials and, of course, us. Your announcers.
We got some really sweet shirts for this tournament and several other tournaments that we've.
And do you know what? Being in roller derby, I always find myself short of shirts. I really just never have enough.
Oh, really?
What I always want is more shirts.
I feel like it's not true.
I will always take the shirts that are offered to me. We're going to bring you that results of the official review very, very shortly. We are just getting some feedback from our lovely in-house announcer, Snuggins. Way too easy.
So,
tell us what's occurring, Lisa.
Loud and clear. What has happened is Tyne and Fear have asked to escalate the penalty that was issued for the mistimed apex jump and contact on Sniper, and they've got it. So you might have noticed that there was a second jammer milling about just a second ago. Singleku. I think we'll be replacing and sitting the remainder of the penalty that was initially issued. I'm afraid Jason Kruger will be out for the rest of the game.
And you know what? That is a shame because he is a really excellent player and a very, very good sportsman-like person. But he knew as soon as that happened,
right.
I think that there was a risk of.
So it's hard to
He knew
say.
how serious it was.
Yeah, well, I'm like, it's a shame depending on how you look at it, because I think it's important that we take safety very, very seriously.
Didn't mean to discredit that.
Right. So I'm like, it depends on how you look at it. We're losing a skilled skater, but also just set a precedent.
Yeah. And our ref crew this weekend is super, super hot and want to keep everyone safe. That is their primary function as skating officials. Jason Kruger has now exited the penalty box and has gone off into the crowd to de-kit. I'm happy that Sniper seems to be okay, in good spirits, back at her bench, and that seemed to be a very calm and reasonable discussion from where we're sitting between the officiating crew and the Cami Quads team. So a shame, but safety absolutely takes first in this sport. So as you said, Sangluku replacing Jason Kruger in the penalty box as jammer, and that gives Pablo Diablo a power start, and that will be a full 30 seconds to work with. However, Tyne and Fear still too light on track in the blocking pack with Cami Quads at the full strength. However, in attendance now, Princess and Fubar coming back on track, trying to just swarm around these formations for Pablo Diablo, who unfortunately takes a knee to the infield, is going to reset in the turn. Number 4-4 from Cami Quads, that's Helicopter off the box on a cut track. Sangoku back on track, picking up speed, but luckily Pablo Diablo picks up leads. Oh, but they took a hit out, so they are going to be drawn all the way back.
Wow, yep. Calling it off. Getting that jam out of the way. That was a no pass for Tyne and Fear and a 0-point jam for Kamiquads. Speaking of Pablos, I would like to give a shout out to my Pablos, also known as Optimus Quad, who's listening to us from Argentina.
Hey, Optimus Quad.
Hello.
Oh, you know, I think I saw you post about some awesome stuff they're doing for the community right
Yes.
now. So solidarity from Aberdeen to Optimus Quad and your community over in Argentina. We now have Dark Matter and Boucle Baston, which I have to say in a French accent, otherwise, because it's just not as fun otherwise. Dark Matter picking up a lead in a matter of seconds for Tyne and Fear, because he is in fact made of dark matter and can just get anywhere he wants because he's made of the universe. Boucle Baston still not out of this pass. Pretty unusual for him to be caught in the pack, and Dark Matter flying in. Drawn back on the straightaway by number 1-3. That's Big Daddy.
Well, that one doesn't get a French accent, huh?
That
one is like an American.
Well, what's French for Big Daddy? Grand Papa.
Grand Papa.
Grand Papa. But we will use Big Daddy because that is his name. In the meantime, Boucle Baston out of the pack. Dark Matter picking up 4, slowing down a little, watching the pack formation. Princess with the offense, and Dark Matter hits and quits. No points on that go around, but a pickup of 4 points. Or is it 8? I can't even see the board from here.
It's a bit hard to actually read the scoreboard from here, I'm afraid. Oh, there we go. That's nice, isn't it?
That was an 8-point pickup from Tyne and Fear. We remembered that we had the scoreboard in front of us.
I had no idea. So, good job on that. I have to point out, Tyne and Fear is doing an excellent job, as you pointed out in this last jam, of holding back some really significant jammers.
And seconds matter, because just as Sangloku freed themselves from the tangles of Tyne and Fear, Moustache had picked up lead. And now we have 2 very fast and agile jammers taking each other on. Moustache hit out by number 6, Oliver Fist, as Sangoku picks up a scoring pass. And choosing to run this jam, when they have leads, Tyne and Fear are liking to use that track time.
And why not?
And why not?
It's one of many directions you can go, so always stick to your guns like that. Sangloku is through, picked up 4 points. Right behind him, though, is Moustache, also with 4 points. Moustache also with the lead, as you know, called it off before Sangloku could be picking up any more. However, that was an 8-point jam for Kamiquads, a 4-point jam for Tyne and Fear. 42-79, as we have 7.5 minutes left in this half.
What a lovely close game as well. I mean, this is why I love these high-level tournaments, because you just see teams having to bring their best in every aspect. You could be, you sometimes get teams who will play a single game and absolutely smash it, but then crash and burn a bit more in a tournament format because of, whether it's fitness or mental game or whatever it is. And then you get some teams who maybe over the course of a tournament, just you see them really gel, you see their strategies come together.
But I think also with things like these, especially when we have teams that are separated by a significant rankings difference, as you pointed out, although they're from Europe and that, they have to have quick adaptability, because even at this level, it's not like the game is flat across the board. Each team has their own quirks, their own ways to bring in it. So the teams that are most successful in these formats are the ones that can think quickly, adapt quickly. Sometimes it's the team that can change at halftime, but it's often the case that it's the team that can change literally during the timeout.
I think what I've been really impressed with is Tyne and Fear's ability to match the speed of Kamiquads in the pack, because Kamiquads are characteristically a very fast and furious team.
Yes.
And perhaps that's a strategy that they're not being able to use as much as they normally would. They're not being completely dominant when they're putting on those lap speeds. Tyne and Fear are really able to match that a lot of the time. Boucle Baston and Sleepy, who is wide awake. I know I've already used that joke and I will continue to use it.
Last time he was perfectly awake, I believe. Now he's wide awake.
And Boucle Baston is taking a rest in the penalty box for a cut track penalty. Big opportunity here for Sleepy and Tyne and Fear, who are goating Big Daddy in the back.
Man, Sleepy's just weaving. Finally makes it through. Picked up the full 4 points there and is coming in for another scoring pass. Of course, he is on this power jam for another, I'm going to say about 10 seconds. Yep, and now the Kamiquad's jammer is stood in the box. The Sleepy's got some time to try to rack up these points, close up this points differential. And of course, Kamiquads are going to make it as hard as possible for him.
Yeah, Boucle Baston leaving the penalty box, taking the star off to stash it. And Sleepy goes round, checks in with his bench. Boucle Baston with a lovely little juke around the outside. Given chase by Sniper, but just can't quite catch him.
Sleepy coming back, got 3 Kamiquads in the box. That doesn't bode well for them, but it bodes super great for Sleepy. Having to only dodge one person, pick up all 4 of the points.
It makes you feel so good when you do that, right?
Yeah.
And look
I've never done it. I'm going to say yes, I
but
assume.
in your dreams, in your roller derby dreams.
Sure.
Look at that pickup, 12 points on the jam for Tyne and Fear. Kamiquad's holding at 79, so we only have 15 points. That's math, right? 15 points?
Don't look at me. Yeah,
wait.
Sure, it seems right.
No, wait, I'm lying.
54, 64, 74. It's 25.
20, that's, thank you, Vicky. I'm an English teacher, not a math teacher.
I just did it on my fingers.
Anyway, a 20.5-point difference is really not that much, but Sagloku has put up 25-point jams on a single go-around before, and just comes in smooth and quiet to this pack. Lovely coverage of the track there by Fubar, forcing Sangoku to use all of his lateral movement. Gets out, calls it for 4.
Do you happen to know if we have a hashtag for the weekend?
I imagine it's hashtag MEQ, but I am not.
It's probably MEQ.
I'm not affiliated with the Twitter. I'm not cool enough.
I don't use Twitter very often, but I just got asked it for social media, and now I'm like, do you happen to know? Let's have a look.
I reckon y'all should guess it and then see it works. We have Dark Matter and Boucle Baston. Boucle Baston being helped out by Hakoda no Kim. And Dark Matter taking advantage of a penalty to Big Daddy to pick up lead. Princess also headed off to the penalty box. Dark Matter now on a scoring pass. Makes it round. Applauds himself, his team, and the sport of roller derby.
Why not,
4 points apiece on the jam. Lovely lateral movement there from Dark Matter. And who is content to run this one out, as we've said, Tyne and Fear are not paying the strategic call-offs right now. Beautiful footwork there, and nice calm presence on the track from Sniper and Fubar. That was gorgeous work there from both teams, really. 12-point pickup again from Tyne and Fear, 8 to Kamiquad, so 66 plays 91 in favor of the team in red. And we have 3.5 minutes remaining in this half. And no century mark yet reached, so a nice low-scoring game.
Not yet, but almost.
Almost.
It is going to be hashtag MEQ2019 if you want to talk about the tournament on Twitter. Show us your watch party. Especially if it involves a cat. Surprise me. Anyways, roller derby's happening. Is Senglaku out there for Kamiquads as usual?
Yeah, and Mustache had picked up lead but took a hit to the inside, so has been forced to reset. Senglaku now out on the initial, and Mustache conserves that advantage, choosing not to run as Tyne and Fear have been wont to do.
So that was a no pass at all for Tyne and Fear. It looked like there was a multiplayer block, I think, assessed to someone at the end of that jam, but there we go.
That's number 4 Eddie Copter of Kamiquads.
who did an amazing job last game. Not that he's not on this one, but just an absolutely key player in their game against Granite City earlier.
Sleepy jumping about like he's had his porridge this morning. My goodness me. Nice strong hold there against 0-1 Hakoto no Kim, who does pick up a penalty for his trouble. Sleepy now with 1 to beat. I think that's Colonel Poulard. And a lead for Sleepy. Oh dear, Kamiquad's in some penalty trouble once again. Only 2 blockers on track. And both of them dropping into defense against Sleepy on the scoring pass. Oliver Fist now coming round to be in attendance. But Glebaston stuck behind this wall, which is, again, quite uncharacteristic, but really great.
That means it's a great wall.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta reframe it.
Oh, yeah, no, I was going to say, like, a fantastic hold from Tyne and Fear.
Yeah.
And Sleepy with 4 points on the pass.
So, Kamiquads are wanting to take an official review with 43 seconds left on the period clock. I suspect, well, no, they may have something to discuss. I was going to say, at this late juncture to take the official review, sometimes it's just simply to use it up because you get it back in the second half. So it's free timeout.
Let's have a look at these penalties. Now, the last time we talked about it, they were super low. 6 on the Kamiquad side, 6 on the Kamiquad side, and 9 on the Tyne and Fear side. Now, in the meantime, I'm just going to do some very quick mathematics because we do not have the totals. We now have 18 on the Tyne and Fear side, so they've doubled their penalty count since we last checked in. But it's Kamiquads who are racking them up more across the board. Of course, we had that foul out from that expulsion, on Jason Kruger, and it was his only penalty.
Yeah.
But that is still 1 for them. And we have Big Daddy on 5. So the total for Kamiquads right now is 21. Okay, so
Earlier was 8.
Yeah, so it looks like certainly on the blocker side, they are having a little bit more trouble. So keep an eye out for Big Daddy and Eddie Copter in particular, who are sitting on 5 and 4 respectively. Princess, the only one in real trouble on Tyne and Fear right now with a total of 5. Mm-hmm. But the majority of the jammer rotation on Tyne and Fear side really nice and clean. Dark Matter with 1. Pablo Diablo not with any, Mustache not with any, and Sleepy on 3, but he had that 3 earlier in the game.
Forever ago they got.
Yeah, and I feel like he's adapted his gameplay to be a bit slicker and a bit less high risk since obtaining those penalties, and it has really paid off in his favor because we have a really narrow differential. We have 19 points separating these two teams.
I think something else that could come into play with the early jammer penalties for Sleepy and then nothing is, Tyne and Fear's first game of the day, not Kamiquad's first game. They're like well warmed up, but, just getting a little bit used to how to work with them. So,
for sure. And I think, Kamiquads are playing a team who is a bit of an unknown quantity for them. Like, they have played Tyne and Fear obviously before, but not this roster. They've, Tyne and Fear's kind of jammers of last season or of recent seasons. So for instance, Sparky, who isn't here today, Mackenzie, who has retired from roller derby, those are jammers which I think actually are more stylistically like the Kamiquads jammers. Very jukey, laterally is a word, as an adjective.
It is. You're an English teacher.
I am. But I think against the kind of explosive power of someone small like Sleepy, they're maybe struggling a little bit more. So we're just going to get the results of that official review for you, but in the meantime, it is Pablo Diablo and Sangluku who are jamming. A very blended pack, but Sangluku leaps out on the apex to pick up lead. Pablo Diablo resetting behind Maniac Tattoo and Oliver Fist.
So Kamiquads, we're asking for a stop block penalty to be issued to Tyne and Fear's jammer at the beginning of last jam. They said he kind of just like leapt into somebody, but like the referees did not witness and do not believe that happened, and so the no call stands.
And in the meantime, we have Pablo Diablo out in the initial, but heading to the box for a forearm. Sangluku, meantime, putting up another scoring pass. He had also switched to play some defense on that last go around. Threads his way through the middle of that pack on this power jam to put 12 up in total. Offensive sweep now coming in from the Kamiquads, but look at Tyne and Fear managing to maintain the front of that pack. Not much match for the speed of Sangluku, but that means we do end the half with 107 points. So Kamiquads smashing the century in that last jam, and we will have a power start, I think, in the second half, as I do not believe Pablo Diablo's penalty was complete. So we are now in intermission for the next 14 minutes. Go refresh your beverages. Please talk to us on the social media at hashtag MEQ 2019. And we will be back here very shortly.
All right.
Welcome back, people on the stream, to the second half of Tyne and Fear versus Cami Quads here at the MRDA European Qualifiers 2019 in beautiful Aberdeen. This is the third game of this tournament, which takes place over 2 days. There are 10 games, 5 teams, and 1 track. The top 2 placing teams from this tournament are eligible for MRDA champs that are held in Denver this season. At the end of the first half, Cami Quads are in the lead with 107 points. Tyne and Fear trailing at 72, but it has been a really nice tight game full of penalties and other I was thinking, what has it been full of? Penalties, but also some really excellent strategic and fast roller derby. Joining me on the stream is Lisa. What did you think of the first half?
I thought that her first half was amazing. Of course, I'm always interested in what the teams have decided to change for the second half, which I think we could be surprised or not. I'm ready, ready for whatever may come.
And on the note of being ready, we had Sangoku on a power start for the Cami Quads. Pablo Diablo was in the penalty box at the end of the last half, but I think had exited very, very soon afterwards. Sangoku caused the first jam, 4 points up on the board, taking their total to 111. We talked a bit in the first half about how both these teams are very fast,
yes.
And I think that is the direction of a lot of MRDA and just generally roller derby at the moment, I think.
Things kind of come in waves. Like, you kind of see trends through strategies in that every season. And I think, one thing is if one of the teams wants to be fast, the other team can't possibly go like, nah, we're good. Like, they kind of have to keep up. So it's like it's a little bit of follow the leader in that you need to make some concessions.
Although at this point, the Cami Quads look like they're using one of the few strategies which can slow speed down. They were goating Sniper in the back of their wall there to keep that pack under their control. Picking up a solitary point for Buckler Baston on that go around and holding Tyne and Fear scoreless. And Mustache on the jam line now, and behind him is Sangloku, who's going to take that run up. Another strategy, for jammers, not letting your opposition see where you are in the moments before the jam. It really can psych you out. Mustache trying that outside. Beautiful, unbelievable, balletic crossovers there to pick up lead for Tyne and Fear.
That was perhaps the best footwork I've seen today. It was like sideways crossovers on his toe stalks.
And an uncommon star pass going to number 4 helicopter of the Cami Quads. We've not really seen them use that tactic a whole amount. Hokuto no Kim has taken a couple of passes today. But normally they've been quite content to let their jammers kind of run the gauntlet a little bit, even when they're not lead.
Well, I think mostly, that maybe is an adjustment for the second half, because I'm trying to think back earlier. You were in a house on the first game. I don't think I recall much, if any, star passes on behalf of the Cami Quads.
I mean, to be fair, Cami Quads did have a more convincing lead against Granite, so we're less urgent about using that tactic, but we'll have to see. Buckler Baston picking up leads, and of course Buckler Baston Sangloku will be putting in double shifts the remainder of this game, as the other primary jammer Jason Kruger did receive an expulsion in the first half. Sleepy jamming for Tyne and Fear at the moment, out on the initial, but not going to be able to put points up on this jam, as it is called by Buckler Baston for 3 points. Just looking at penalties, Big Daddy on the Cami Quad side in a little bit of trouble with 6 penalties to his name, so we might want to keep an eye on that. And I do remember when Cami Quads played Granite at the Silver State Cup in September, it was a very tight game, but it did come down to foul outs that helped Granite get that win. So they're going to have to be careful, the Kami quads, because you got to stay clean. Pablo Diablo picking up a no pass, no penalty, make it out the pack. Sangloku making it out for leads.
But the fact of the matter was, it was Pablo Diablo that was out first, but due to no pass, no penalty, had not picked up lead. And then Sangloku comes out and does establish lead, and just now is calling it off and pointing at something I'm not really clear on.
Gesticulating strongly.
Maybe there's a bit of sweat on the track, because that happened.
I always feel that whenever jammers point, it's because they're trying to get more points. My favorite thing
You're
is
just pointing at the floor. What?
My favorite thing is when jammers put their fingers up to indicate the number of points they've gotten, and the jam ref eyeballs them and goes, no.
As when you say favorite thing,
I mean,
are you laying the sarcastic on pretty heavy?
No, I actually do genuinely enjoy it.
You do,
but I enjoy some strange things. However,
fair.
what I do not enjoy is going back to the bench and then being told that I have a penalty, which has just happened to Pablo Diablo. He has been given a back block from their jam ref just there. So now Sangloku heading back to track. I swear he was just there. With the power starts and the pivot line being jostled for.
So we do have, as you said, the jammer and also a blocker for Tyne and Fear in the box, giving Sangloku perhaps a little bit of, I was going to say advantage, but then there was a chat cut.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be a bit of a jammer switcheroo. The Tyne and Fear jammer had not stood yet, so at least, under 20 seconds will be served by Sangloku. Oh, it was just a few seconds in fact.
Yeah, and Pablo Diablo is still eligible for lead at this point, but some gorgeous water falling from Kami Quads doesn't quite hold him back. Yeah, Sangloku, I mean, not like him to get a cut track because his footwork is so precise, but I think a little overconfident on that apex, had a lot of space to work with and just put a toe on the outside of the tape, unfortunately for him. Some offense now coming in from Hokuto no Kim for Sangloku.
So a really spread out pack there for a minute, almost taking up the length of the whole apex.
For sure, and some nice flat wall blocking going on from both teams. But also some risky maneuvers here. We've got a forearm being called on a Kami Quads blocker. And it's taken Sangloku a long time to make it out on that initial, which is so uncharacteristic for him. So great job there by Tyne and Fear, who do pick up 4 points in that jam.
So that is going to bring them up to 79. Two Kami Quads, 115. We've got about 23-20 left in the game. Got that 5-second call. Just one Kami Quad blocker having a seat in the box. So pack advantage is Tyne and Fear, and there was just like a really messy fall there. It's sometimes a bit dangerous. It is going to be Tyne and Fear's jammer Dark Matter getting through and establishing lead.
And he is one of those players who is really able to slice through the chaos of a pack. Like, he has a very clear vision, a very mindful, calm jammer with the footwork to match. So a great advantage for Tyne and Fear right now. Another star pass affected by Kami Quads, this time to number 6, that is Oliver Fist. Now the active jammer for the team in red.
Do you remember the high five that you got after the first game?
I do.
That was Oliver Fist.
It was from Oliver Fist. And Oliver Fist managing to breeze through the pack, not even touching his opposing blockers right there. Dark Matter, no such luck. Hit to the infield and calls the jam.
2 points picked up that last pass by Tyne and Fear, bringing them up to a 10-point jam. As a 4-point jam for Kami Quads, 89 to 119.
So 30-point difference there. I'm pretty sure that's correct maths. I just want to take some time, because we're in a timeout, to thank another one of our sponsors. That is United Skate Shop. Derby, dance, disco, artistic, everything you need to skate, indoor and outdoor. They have limited helmet stock right now at 50% off. Enough ABC7 bearings. You can get a set of 16 for £10. They have a full Moxie fitting station and a raffle competition to win a pair of Moxie boots for £5. You can also use the code LAUNCH10 for 10% off non-sale items. And you can check that out at www.unitedskates, that's SK8S.com. So www.unitedsk8s.com.
So the enough, it's actually ABEC 7 bearings is the rating for how fast your bearings will spin within the actual.
I love the
circle.
facts that you bring.
Well, I'm just telling you. So ABEC 7's, it's a pretty reasonable rating. Like if you want to do outdoor skating, you probably wouldn't want an ABEC 7. You would probably want more like a 5. Or if you can figure out a lesser one, that's cool as well.
I tell you what I want. I want a pair of Moxies boots.
I know. I'm like, let's downplay the Moxie thing so we can enter it and win these boots. I've wanted some Moxies for so long, but I can't justify it when I've got 2 pairs of skates at my house that I haven't worn in so long.
I went to the Moxie skate shop opening in Venice Beach last year after RollerCon, and I was just like, please, can I have all of the things? And
They're
they
so
said, well, you
beautiful.
can, but you have to give us your money first.
I know, that's the thing. They want money, don't they?
We're back on track, and a little bit of a different pack start right now. Tyne and Fear really out the front, holding back Sangoku, but with a bit of space to work with. He does make it through for lead. Mustache with a ridiculous backwards apex leap, doesn't quite land it. Heads back on track and is using his lateral movements to try to split Kami quads apart. Sangoku in the meanwhile really hitting his stride for 4 points. He's just a real joy to watch skate when he gets going.
Definitely.
Just superb footwork the whole way around.
So right now an 8-point jam for Sangoku. A huge fall there from number 13, Big Daddy, the Kami quads.
And Tyne and Fear managing to reform at the front and forcing the call off, but no points in that jam for Tyne and Fear. So that takes the score 127 to Kami quads, 89 to Tyne and Fear. So it's still a really nice close game, and I actually think that all the derby today has been great, but I think I've enjoyed watching this game the most. I've watching each team adapt to the other team's strategies rather than just sticking to their own. They've really put some thoughtful plays out there to try to counteract the speeds of each other. Number 3 is jamming right now. That's bad periods for the Kami quads. It's their first time with the star today. Probably resting the legs of the other Kami quads players, who of course do have 2 more very intensive games to come tomorrow.
Well, also, you know, when you come with a larger list, you can spice up the rotation.
Spice it up.
Especially when you have a bit of a lead. As you said before, the first game there was more of a convincing lead, but I guess they're feeling confident enough to do some lineup changes right now anyway. So coming through, that is the first 4 points for bad periods. Now re-entering the pack for scoring is going to pick up the full 4 points again.
Yeah, now that's interesting because I thought on that first pass, I didn't think they'd actually completed that pass. I thought they'd have to reset, but this is why I'm not an official. So 8 points on the jam for bad periods.
Oh, that was a strange hit.
And everyone just very spread apart in the apex on that last few seconds of that jam. Sleepy heading back to their bench looking a little bit winded, but that was tough for all concerned.
So that was Colonel Pollard, was it? Having a seat in the box?
Yeah, and just looking at these penalties, a few people now in trouble. Big Daddy holding at 6, having You know, we had that at the start of this half. But Man-Shaped Dog on 5 for Tyne and Fear. Princess on 6. Fubar also on 5. So Tyne and Fear need to calm it down just a touch. And Pablo Diablo, unfortunately, picking up a cut track at the start of this jam. Sangluku on the power jam now. And does pick up lead for Cami Quads.
Colonel Ballard motioning to his jammer, I will be joining you soon as he passes by.
Like, I got your back.
Well, there was something, you know, you probably noticed earlier as Cami Quads would penalty kill to get their blockers out before ending the jam, which sometimes meant giving up some points to the other team.
Look at what's happening now with this pack. I mean, now they're starting to set and reform, but the walls are just being broken apart on both teams, and they're playing one-on-one derby a lot of the time. Nice little apex hop there from Sangloku, using just a tiny bit of space. And Pablo Diablo grinding against this nice slow formation that Cami Quads have got set up. Tyne and Fear having to focus on defense right now to slow Sangloku's roll. That is Colonel Poulard back to the box from multiplayer. 60 quad bit also taking a seat. Sangloku, in the meantime, 1 foot balance around the apex. Pablo Diablo still really struggling. A lovely hit out from Greenbergen, who is going to take him on one-on-one at the back.
Yeah, Pablo, you know, even though there's a significant height difference, is able to really just push Greenbergen along. And so that jam is ended. 20
points.
20 points.
And it just seems like a few minutes ago, I mean, it probably was, when we were saying, actually, you know, there's only 25, 30 points difference between these two teams. That is now almost an even 70, I think. I really cannot do math today, so
We've got, like,
I'm actually
calculators on our phones.
Do you know what? I'm going to use the calculator on my phone, and I don't care who judges me for it.
I'm not.
Okay, good.
You know.
That's all I care about, actually. Please don't judge me. I'm normally really good at quick maths. Okay.
Let's put you on the spot. You're just making absolute shit.
69 points difference. So
right.
I did say almost an even 70, and I was right. I feel so validated. Boucle Baston is lead for the Cami Quads. There goes Dark Matter. Zoom, zoom, zoom around the apex, giving chase. And look at this disruption that Cami Quads are running in the apex. Doesn't quite work. Everyone falls down. Everyone's going to get some penalties, I think, because
everybody just reports.
Everyone,
to the
like
box.
you all did something there. Well, no penalties, but no points either, by the looks of things.
And you know, maybe just like a finger wag would do it, like
an admonishing.
Yeah.
No. Sometimes I feel like there should just be a person on the bench that just goes, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, just somebody that from across the room folds their arms, makes sure you make eye contact, shakes the head no, looks at the ground, and then walks out, never to be seen again.
And tuts. You have to tut.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
It's a very British form.
That is a very British thing. I have been tutted by many British people since I have.
You're one of us now. We've accepted you as our own.
Oh, is that right? Okay, cool. Well, then tell my peers to quit tutting me. I'm just trying to live my life.
Speaking of trying to live your life, how would you like to live your life in some Dirty Jeans, who are one of our sponsors?
I would love that.
I mean, you know, you can explore, live, and be more in Dirty Jeans.
That sounds great, actually.
Especially if you enter the code FLYER-M8 at the checkout for 15% off.
I believe you mean Flyer, mate.
Yeah, but I had to spell it phonetically.
I know it.
So
I just wanted to help.
Thank you for helping. So now that I've done that really smooth segue into that sponsor read, you can check them out at www.dirtyjeans.co.uk and do use that code FLYER-MATE, which is FLYER-M8 at the checkout for 15% off Dirty Jeans, allowing you to explore, live, and be more.
Is flyer slang in England.
For what?
I don't know.
Is it slang in America?
No.
Then why would you think it's slang here?
Well, what's flyamate mean?
I think, okay, well, if you're fly, then like you're good, you're fashionable. Like if you look fly, you look
yeah,
slick.
I'm there.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I recall the song "Pretty Fly" for White Guy.
yes, which would now be considered politically incorrect, but it's still a banging tune.
That's the only line I know from it.
No, it's fair.
I'm essentially like a very old person inside, and just kind of an old person on the outside.
You know who's not old outside or inside?
No.
Sangluku, who has lead jam status for Kami Quads.
That seems legit.
On a power start as well, because Dark Matter did receive they did receive a penalty at the end of that jam. It's not come up on the scoreboard just yet.
Who's that?
Dark Matter, the jammer for Tyne and Fear, has taken a seat in the penalty box. Now back on track. And doing some beautiful work to make it out on the initial. But Sangluku just flying in. And 8-point pickup for Kami Quads, 166 now plays 89 with 13 minutes to go. Matt, what was your penalty for? They've not put it up yet, but just checking. Yes, it's not on the board. I'm not controlling.
But you still went to the box, so like, did you really win?
They've not put it up yet, I'm just saying. So we think Dark Matter got a forearm.
I wondered if he accidentally went to the box, because that's happened so many times, like in my life.
Oh, and speaking of jam penalties, number 7, Boucle Baston is picking up a cut track. That is his first penalty.
Nicely done then.
And with Moustache lead and 4 points on the jam, this is a huge opportunity for Tyne and Fear. Slides through, so close to this century mark right now. I really enjoy Moustache's self-applause. I'm all for bigging yourself up on track.
No, I mean, like, that's... I did a silent applause.
I did a loud applause then. I just made noises. That was phenomenal work there from Moustache. A 2-footed apex leap.
It was so high.
It was so high.
So high.
Oh, he's doing it again. Oh, but no.
You know what, sir? Maybe, I'm not saying limit yourself, but pace yourself. One terrifyingly high apex jump per jam.
And that is 16 points there for Moustache. that was quite good, that was
Now he's looking for...
He looks very pleased.
He looked at the house announcers and is like doing bows and that.
Good for him.
I'm so happy to see someone happy with themselves, because I feel like I know
Rather than having crippling self-doubt.
Yeah,
that's my jam.
That's me. I'm always like, yeah. Let's all strive to find our inner Moustache.
And look at the speed of these two jammers. It is Sleepy with lead, but Sangoku in front is now going to try to slow him down, and this is a risky move. Oh,
Sleepy
jammer
is not
hugs.
interested.
Sleepy goes, I'm going to go sit down now.
Or perhaps he was like, if I don't call it now, this hug will be lost.
To be fair, Sangluku does look like a great cuddler.
Fair. I just feel like right now, you would, you know how like you get really sweaty and then it gets cold.
I do know that, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, the clam.
I feel like that's a cold, wet hug. I guess if you were already cold and wet, fine.
Oh, look, we're doing some twisty-turny backwards skating. Sangluku taking Dark Matter all the way back and is forces him back into his own pack, which is just rude. But Sangluku still has to obtain leads and does so now, having made it through the pack. But Dark Matter is behind him, so really a kind of a neutral clock kill there for both teams.
Definitely, we're starting to see maybe a little more, time killing as we wear on. We are now under 10 minutes remaining in this game.
And some really nice, smart coverage of the track here from Tyne and Fear. Look at their zonal defense right now, covering that track against Sangoku, forcing him to take the middle. He then does make it through, but for someone who likes to take the edges so much, that's a really smart strategy there from Tyne and Fear to slow down that jammer.
.107 to 170, not quite a Taco Cat, but it tried.
I do like a palindrome score, but I'll take the same digits. That's good too. So, and also that's easy math for me. 63 points separating these two teams with 9 minutes to go.
So it's not so much a Taco Cat as it is like a Tau Cat.
I just want tacos now, Sleazer. Now that you've said that, this is hungry work. Please, somebody deliver me tacos to the Beach Leisure Centre in Aberdeen. Vegan filling.
Oh, we love that.
We have Pablo Diablo jamming once again for Tyne and Fear. Big hit out there from Hokuto no Kim and Greenbergen, who have been a really solid blocking duo on track. And Buckler Baston does pick up lead after almost 30 seconds on the jam. Buckler Baston now on a scoring pass. And Pablo Diablo does make it out. And it's really nice actually seeing Pablo having a jam. Like, he's somebody who for this is a really big opportunity for him to have some additional track time for Tyne and Fear. And he's really doing a great job.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And when they come with 10 skaters available today, that puts a lot of pressure, and you're very high in the rotation, of course.
And do you know what? Until you reminded me of the fact that they've got 10 skaters, I would not have thought that.
I know. They've done amazingly well. So it's 10 extraordinarily solid skaters, and it's...
Matt, it was a forearm, it's back. It's on there now.
Oh my gosh. Huge hit landed on Mustache, but he is up and at him, coming back in, is sliding through the Comic Quads blockers one by one. Oh my god, that shouldn't be
physically possible. Mustache is doing some Matrix stuff in this game.
But in real time.
I know.
It's so horrifying
none
to
of this
me.
slow motion Keanu Reeves nonsense. Keanu Reeves? That's a new name. Keanu Reeves nonsense. Yeah, Keanu Reeves, let's look at Mustache for your stuffed up.
Yeah.
That was cool.
So.
I mean, Kami Quads did get the 4 points, but that was cool moves on the outside.
It was really sweet.
And Big Daddy has actually fouled out of the game for Kami Quads. I do not know when that happened. We just updated the penalty board. But not much longer to go, so probably won't have a huge impact on the score at this point.
0-0 that jam. So 107 for Tyne and Fear, 176 for Comic Quads. We've got just over 6 minutes loud and clear.
6 minutes.
6 minutes.
6 minutes of derby time.
Yeah.
And we have a 4-3 pack advantage to Kami Quads going into jam 19 of this period. And look, we're all jostling at the pivot line like it's 2015 again. Gotta love the old school. Oh, Dark Matter tries the in. Buckler Baston follows him through that lane. Super smart jammer awareness right there. So Kami Quads with leads, Dark Matter half a track behind. But Tyne and Fear managing to set up at the front. Picking up 2 points. Or, nope, 3 points, my apologies. So, at this point, like an insurmountable differential, I would say, unless there are some, characteristic of this game, because we've had a few of those kind of 16, 20-point jams, but they've definitely not been the norm.
So now that you've said that,
now that we've said that,
all they need is 2 solid, 33-point jams, tie this up.
Yeah. But as we've talked about before, this tournament is not just about the winning ratio, it's about the points differential.
So initial, we're going to be looking at like who's won, and then if it comes down to a question, then the points differential certainly comes in.
But you can bet that Tyne and Fair will be super keen to make a statement and kind of say, yep, we've got a different roster, but we're able to put out a really contentious squad for this tournament, and they can do that by narrowing these differentials down into the last jam. Pablo Diablo has removed the star and is now playing a little bit of defense. Slides through but picks up the cut, unfortunately. So a power jam for Sangoku, who looks like he's gonna run this jam.
Well, why not? I mean, like when you've got currently an 80-point lead.
Sure. And I think the Kami quads are also really going to be thinking about their later games. Tomorrow they will play the Mannequin Beasts, who they have encountered several times before, and they're always a really hot contender, and they will want to make sure that they're going in with the best odds possible.
Absolutely.
Sangoku getting a little tangled in this power jam right now, which is just ending. Does make it out, but looks a little winded from that Tyne and Fit defense. Pablo still swirling around in this pack, manages to stay in bounds. Oh, but picks up a forearm. What a real shame for Pablo.
That is rough. Yeah.
That did not seem huge from here, but
an official review is being called by Comic Quads, and we will be back to you shortly with the results of that. Next, I almost said on this track. Next up in this tournament,
and on this track, we only have one track.
It's true. It's going to be Mannequin Beast facing off against our host, the Granite City Brawlers, and that will be the second game for both of those teams today.
And Granite City Brawlers played against Kami Quads, who are sitting on track right now, in the first game today, and they lost by. I'm being given the scores. So Kami Quads won at 283, Brawlers 121, and then Mannequin Beast beat Glasgow 295 to 80. So Granite coming in really hungry to this game, very familiar with the work of Mannequin Beasts, who have had, has to be said, a really amazing, not even a breakout season, but just a really exciting season. They played Bridgetown and managed to beat them in a tournament in America quite recently. And
what was that tournament called?
I do not remember.
Brouhaha. I just like messing with y'all. Did you hear earlier, one of the announcers was like, Champs, which is held in, and I was like, Denver. Yeah, no, that was Brouhaha, which is a Midwestern tournament that has been going on for 8 or 9 years, and so it was really exciting to see them there. Their social media presence was absolutely amazing.
On point.
And who was it that was eating all the pizzas?
My pizza knowledge is somewhat lacking.
Did you not see those videos? They were doing fundraising, and one of them hates pineapple pizza, and he got pineapple pizza for money so his team could go to Brouhaha. But he was like, fold.
I would not do that.
It was lunacy.
Pineapple does not belong on pizza, and I will
not do it. You know what? Pineapple is perfectly fine on pizza.
Well, do you know what? Let's talk about Derby before I get angry about this, because you're wrong. Sangoku is lead with the power start for Kami Quads. Pablo Diablo still sitting pretty in the penalty box. And Sangoku tantalizingly close to this double century right now for Kami Quads. Comes in with a nice lateral cut into that strong Tyne and Fair wall. and waits for his offense to help him out, which they do most ably for 4 more points.
So,
you're going to tell us about the official reviews, Lisa?
I am, in fact. So the Kamiquads were asking for an insubordination to be tacked on to Pablo's call earlier because, as you may know, you were supposed to exit the track with as much immediacy as you can muster, and if you do not,
then you're
consider you being insubordinate and churlish.
And it looks like he has been given that insubordination.
He in fact
as well.
was, yeah.
So that is a total of 3 penalties in that last jam
Well,
for Pablo.
it took his time getting off, and the other team was like, no.
To be fair, with so little time, like, that's great eyes there from the Kamiquads bench to use that review.
Defo, and successfully.
Yep.
So
Pablo now out on the initial, but Sangloku with 16 points on the jam has broken the double century.
Whoa.
Pablo puts his star back on, comes into Oliver Fist with aplomb, takes a seat in the outfield, and now we're playing backwards derby, folks. We are going back in time. We are just having a little skate in a clockwise direction.
Wow, yeah, I was like, is the game over? Did I like blank out for a minute? Nope, they were just having a leisurely skate around.
Stretching out their backs.
Yeah, why not? So we do have under a minute left now. Kamiquads got 16 points. I believe that was the second highest scoring jam in this game. Bringing them up to 210. Tyne and Fear not picking up anything in that jam. Still sitting at 107. Oops.
17 points now. So now we have the last, probably what is going to be the last jam. And it is Colonel Poulard jamming for Kamiquads. And it is Mustache with some lovely twirly work, but Colonel Poulard picking up leads. Mustache still on the initial right now, and Kamiquad's able to go into a tripod formation, or aiming to, as Colonel Poulard takes on the pivot for Tyne and Fear. That is man-shaped dog.
It is true.
It is true, Lisa, yes.
Well, I was trying to figure out, what is Hakuto no Kim doing? He's recycling back a mustache very far, so.
Yeah, and a big rib hit thrown from Hakuto no Kim into 137 there. That's
the Colonel, taking the slowest recycle of all time, is like, oh, P.S., I'm just going to call it off. So I was waiting for the period clock to expire. That was 4 points picked up in that jam. Going to bring Kamiquads unofficially up to 215. Tyne and Fear at 107. So I think it's safe to say that Kamiquads were the victors in this. And so that is 2 for 2 today for the Kamiquads.
And scoreboard-wise, a pretty decisive victory. But actually, I think Kamiquads ran away with it in like the latter quarter of that game. But up until that point, Tyne and Fear were really giving them a good darn run for their money. Like,
definitely,
absolutely, a really not a blowout game by any means. A really contentious contest there, and so fantastic to see these kind of newer players from Tyne and Fear and get lots of track time, and great to see Kamiquads kind of bring that ferocity and speed to the track as they always do.
Absolutely.
That is now your final score. Kamiquads 215, Tyne and Fear 107. Up next at 4 o'clock local time, you are going to have the Mannequin Beasts from Belgium taking on Granite City Brawlers, our host league for this weekend in Aberdeen. And I will be on the stream maybe again tomorrow, but I will be on the house call later. You are going to have a rest now.
Yes.
So thanks for taking us on the stream. Do not go too far. We'll have next game for you in 17 minutes or so. I'm Loud and Queer.
I'm Julia Sleazer.
And we're signing off at the MRDA European Qualifiers. Be back with you in just over 15 minutes.